Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation today. Thank you for joining us here this morning. We're going to talk about a couple of different things that are available for companies that are working on clean energy and energy-related technologies. You're going to hear about our EnergySprint+SBIR program, which is upcoming. Applications will be opening very soon. Our Department of Energy focused Arrowhead Center SBIR/STTR accelerator, which we call ACSA, which the applications are actually open now. Then you're going to hear a little bit about the other Arrowhead program that is pretty much funding / hosting / running this effort, which is our Clean Energy Resilience and Growth Cluster. Carlos, if you want to progress to the next slide. And after you hear about these programs, we're going to just have potentially, or hopefully actually, a little bit of time for some questions and answers, be able to talk more in depth if you want information about any of the programs you hear about today, any of the offerings, and to see if you're a good match for what the purpose and focus is of those programs. But first off, you're going to hear about the EnergySprint+SBIR program from Carlos.
Thank you, Dale. And good morning to everyone to all the participants who are joining us today. Let me talk to you about the EnergySprint+SBIR. This is an accelerator that we're going to be running next month. And I'm going to talk about the structure a little bit. So we modeled the curriculum based off the business model canvas. So we're going to be covering value propositions, key resources, partners, cost structure, value streams, all the different blocks of the canvas during the accelerator. And this is just to make you think about your existing business model, if you have one, or help you create one. For all of the sessions, we are bringing different speakers, and these speakers are either people with experience in the field, entrepreneurs, clean tech entrepreneurs, investors, attorneys, so people who will talk about that topic, that block of the canvas, in the context or with the eyes of a clean tech focus. We also have some videos available, some pre-recorded curriculum for you to learn more about customer discovery, how to talk to clients, how to approach suppliers, basically all the content, but more in a more deep format. This program also gives you access to the Arrowhead Innovation Network, which is a network of over 50 professionals, different areas, different sources, and you can just during the time of the program, between the classes, some days before or after, schedule 30-minute sessions with patent attorneys, accountants, all these kinds of expertise to have a one-on-one session. The team of the EnergySprint+SBIR is also available for one-on-one meetings. So we can talk about introductions to NMSU, your existing challenges, anything that you wish to discuss off the class. We are also going to make that available. As I mentioned, sometimes you are going to apply for federal funding, or you are a non-technical entrepreneur and you need some assistance. So one of the key components of this program is that we can open some doors at NMSU and provide you access to some faculty members to pick their interest. For those of you who are working on software or technologies that require an app or a platform, we also have up to $25K in AWS credits and up to $120,000 in IBM cloud credits. We are trying to assess all the participants and bring expertise as much as possible, and so you will be that reflected. You will see that reflected in the speakers. And at the end of the fifth session, the sprint will switch to an SBIR focus. And that's where you will hear from Dale, and he's gonna walk you through the process on how to identify and then pursue an SBIR STTR funding opportunity. So this is the breakdown of the sprint that I was telling you about. As you can see, the first 5 weeks are the business model canvas blocks. We have a 2-hour session every week. We're going to cover those topics with the speakers and with the hosts. And at the end, we're going to give participants the opportunity to pitch for those who are ready to pitch or about to raise capital. And for the last session of the Energy Sprint, we're going to have some venture capitalists or some angel investors who are going to give you feedback in a very non-demo day format. So you will basically have the opportunity to have a very honest and informal conversation. Del, I don't know if you want to cover some details of the last 2.5 weeks, or you want me just to go over those?
No, that's fine, Carlos. I'll kind of wrap that into what I'm going to talk about with the DOE ACSA.
Okay, awesome. So as we mentioned before, the last 2.5 weeks are going to be about SBIR STTRs. And we're going to put the link in the chat. You can apply to the Energy Sprint now. Applications are due by the end of the month, and the cohort starts on April 7th all the way through May 19th. The meetings are going to be on a Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So let us know if you have any questions or comments, and we're happy to take those at the end of the session. And I think the next slide is for you.
Yes. So as Carlos mentioned, one of the things that you'll learn about during the EnergySprint+SBIR cohort is what can SBIR, STTR do for your company? You know, these are very valuable programs, and trying to move your technology, let's call it, along the commercialization pathway. So really growing from idea to a potential product. But these programs can be a little, let's just call it mystifying to actually approach. There's a lot of variation, there's a lot of differences. And one of the really great things that we're structuring is, if you do see a fit with what you're creating, if you do see that kind of potential, we're going to be running an accelerator cohort on SBIR opportunities through DOE right at the end of the EnergySprint+SBIR. But that doesn't really kind of give you that focus on why SBIR. Next slide, Carlos. So SBIR and STTR as well are at their heart economic development opportunities. They're a way for the federal government to inject research and development dollars into a business. You have an amazing idea, something that's going to change the world, refocus the way we think about energy, energy savings, energy distribution, moving along the pathway from carbon-based sources to cleaner and greener potentials for our energy future. And these programs allow you to really offset technical risk. You have an idea, it's going to be amazing, but there's that one critical factor you have to figure out, that one technical problem that's just eating away at you, that thing that keeps you up at night, just laying in bed, hoping and praying that this will actually work out. And these opportunities allow you to do that. They allow you to kind of offset that ulcer you're probably giving yourself on, how do I fund this? What do I need to do? Oh man, I got to go out there. I got to take a loan. I got to do this. And this totally wipes that out. Next slide, Carlos. Because these are seed funds. Just like when you would go to a third-party investor, a venture capitalist, an angel, and say, I have this idea, I really need funding to get it started though. if I tried to fund this myself, it's going to just cripple my company. I'm not going to do anything. I might as well quit this now and, go be a cart runner at Walmart or whatever position you'd be able to find in this weird job market. But the benefit of these programs over something like third-party investment is they're really risk-free. It's not a loan. You don't have to pay the money back. And the government doesn't want any equity in your business. They don't want a portion of the business. They don't want a portion of the idea. It's really that way to go, okay, I can grow, I can succeed, I can make a difference. I can get out there and start selling products. I can get out there and make revenues for my company. I can get out there and I can hire more people. I can pay higher wages. I can get more jobs. I can grow and I can grow and I can succeed. And that's why at the heart, they're economic development, because they are helping small for-profit businesses get off the ground, get started, and get on their way to being a potentially huge commercial success. Next slide, Carlos. Now, there's a lot of different agencies that actually participate in these programs. There are, you see 11 here. I always describe it as 12 because Department of Commerce splits it between NIST and NOAA. NIST and NOAA aren't technical agencies. It's 12 agencies. We'll wipe that away. And each of these agencies has a different focus. There's something that they have as a research priority. There's something that they go, okay, we've been stood up to look at this. We've been stood up to do research in this area. We've been stood up to press forward the innovation ecosystem in this, let's just call it a finite element. Next slide, Carlos. And each agency is actually very different when it comes to their SBIR and STTR funding. Even such things as the proposal process, because you have to put together a proposal. It's not really free money. Oftentimes people say, well, these are free money. And it's not free money for one very important reason, because you have to work for it. You have to do work. You have to put together a proposal. You have to say what you're going to solve. You have to say why this is important. You have to convince this agency that if you give me money, I can succeed. This is what I can impact. This is what I can do. This is how I can be successful. And they want to get a proposal for that. They want to know, okay, well, this is why this is important. This is why we should care. This is why we should fund you. So across agencies, the proposal process is different. Formatting requirements, page counts, what you actually put in there for content, any additional documentation that you have to include with it, budgets, budget narratives, how are you going to spend the money that they give you over your period of performance? Even periods of performance change and vary. And funding levels also vary. It's anywhere from a phase one for $50,000 to, I think that's 279, 766 now. It's the top according to NIH. Don't ask me why it's that weird number. NIH does their own thing. But they want to know, okay, this is a phase one. You're really establishing the feasibility. You're saying this is possible. This can work. This can actually be something in the future. And their solicitations vary. What they look at, how often they look at, how often they fund. Your ability to talk to people at the agencies is different. There's a lot of just variation within these programs and within these agencies that you go, okay, this seems like a really good fit. This seems like a really great value proposition for me. This seems like something I can do. How do I get started? How do I get my feet, kind of in the pool and start treading water here, hoping that I'm going to start swimming those laps? Because again, those agencies kind of all over the board. Next slide, Carlos. Because these are kind of a backbone on innovation and commercialization. You have to be creating something that's unique, something that's different, something that's going to solve a problem. But innovation doesn't necessarily mean high tech. So innovation can be even things like comic books for PTSD patients. That's not something I just pulled out of the air. In 2011, DARPA actually funded 8 awards to help people kind of reintegrate back into society after they had been in, the theater of war. People that were suffering under, PTSD, had, lived in constant rocket attacks and go, I don't know how to be normal again. And so they said, well, comic books will actually let them kind of figure this out. It'll show them that things will be okay. But it was innovative because it was different. It was unique. And that's a key facet here when you're thinking about your technology. Is it innovative? Is it unique? Am I doing something different? Something that people can gravitate towards? Solving a problem, helping them spend less money, getting, better energy savings. Whatever that focus is, if it can qualify as innovative, if it can qualify as different, revolutionary, game-changing, unique, all the different words these agencies use to describe innovation, then there's potential there. But it's potential for a commercial solution. There has to be some way you can get this to market. There has to be some way that you can sell a product. And product is really just, hey, there's something here, I can make revenue. It doesn't necessarily need to be a physical product. It can be a virtual one. It can be a piece of software. Like Carlos was just saying earlier, if you're developing a new app, something like that, cloud credits will get you pretty far in establishing this is what I need to do, this is how I need to create it, this is what I need to set up. Well, now you're tying that to the commercial factor. You're going, okay, I think there's a market here. I think there's a customer. I think there's a pain point that I can actually address. And that's also why we're following up the EnergySprint+SBIR with this accelerator, because you're going to figure out that innovation. You're going to figure out that commercial. You're going to figure out that market opportunity. And you're going to go out there and talk to people, because this is a big portion of whether this is available or whether this can be funded under SBIR or STTR funding. Agencies have a lot of different ways they look at stuff. They have a lot of different criteria for reviews. But if you are not at least innovative with a commercial potential, you're not going to be able to get funded. But there's ways to write about that. There's ways to kind of highlight that. And that focus on innovation and commercialization can also change between agencies. Next slide, Carlos. For instance, at DOE is very focused on energy technologies, things that are going to go out there, things that are going to kind of ensure our security and prosperity when it comes to these transformational ways we think about energy, these new ways we think about clean tech, these ways that we can create molten salt batteries that last forever. Of course, that's not actually true. Nothing lasts forever. But these ways that we go, okay, this can be something just amazing, as long as it's related to energy in some fashion. Maybe it's storage. Maybe it's even data science. Maybe it's visualizations for that data science. Maybe it's a new material. DOE tends to be very focused rather than other granting agencies under SBIR and STTR. They want something that is energy related. Now, oftentimes they don't quantify that energy relation. You kind of have to figure that out. But there's kind of that shift, and they go, okay, these are very, very science heavy. These are very cutting edge and technology related. Or these are more open energy solutions, open energy kind of focus. And that varies between their releases because, again, agencies are different. DOE releases twice a year. They have 2 cycles, 2 very different focuses for those cycles. Next slide, Carlos. And that innovation is really about what is that strength of the science with DOE? What is that backbone that says this potentially works? What are those principles and theories that you can just kind of pull down from the cosmos and aether and say, this is possible. This is why this is feasible. This is why this can actually work out. And maybe you're even looking at licensing something from an FFRDC, the federally funded research and development center, like Los Alamos or Sandia. And you say, this is just sitting on the shelf, but man, I could really make this something. I can make this a product. I can enter something like a strategic partnership and drive this into the marketplace. Next slide, Carlos. And you get various levels of funding when it comes to Department of Energy. You know, we talked about that kind of phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is establishing the feasibility. So it's not as much funding because you're just trying to prove out that there is potential here. This can potentially work. Here is something I need to do to show that, yes, science actually backs this up. Here's a little bit of research I need to do to say, you know, if I can hit this 30% mark, I know I can grow this. I know this can actually continue to be developed. And then if you're successful there, you move on to the phase 2. And phase 2 is more money, more time, because it is really trying to drive towards that. This is my market ready prototype. This is something that I can actually get out there and start showing customers. This is something they can just put their hands on and, you know, figure it out and maybe break it. And maybe you have to print another one. But this is something that we go, okay, here, Mr. Customer, this is how this works. Let me show you. And that really does drive towards that. This is going to be successful now. People can actually poke at it. People can prod at it. People can see what their value proposition is based on what I can hand them. And that's something you find a lot, even when you go after third-party investment, is those investors want to see it. They want to put their hands on it. They want to go, okay, how does this actually work? What does this do? Why is this something that I can get a return on? So these programs really do help you get towards that spot where you have a stable base or a stable foundation to grow from. Next slide, Chris. And you do that over kind of various phases. DOE is really great too about offering, you know, companion or follow-on funding. Because as anybody that has done product development knows, phase 1 for DOE can either be $200,000 or $250,000, depending on the particular topic. And that phase 2 can be 1.1 million or 1.6 million, depending on that topic. And, you know, roughly, let's say $1.5 million to $2 million. If you're developing something like a new type of reactor, well, it's not going to get you all the way. And DOE recognizes that. They say, okay, you had a lot of success here. You really did establish that this is feasible, this can work. Here's something like a phase 2A, just because you need to continue this development. You need to continue working on this. We see the value in this just as you do. Or maybe a phase 2B, because you go, okay, I got there technically, but I just don't know how to get into the market. I need that help with commercialization. Or even, you know, phase 2C, because you move through those other ones and you go, I need a little bit more assistance. I need to bring in some matching funding. And this just really does speak towards the across agencies. There's so many differences. There's so much variation. It can be very hard to figure out your first steps and your pathway. Next slide, please. So where do you go for that help? Where do you go to find out about how this type of funding can actually get you started on that pathway? You know, that journey of 1,000 miles starts with that first step, but you have to make that first step. You have to actually set that foot on that pathway. You have to start moving forward. And like I said, these programs are a great way to move forward, but by what I just talked to you about, now you're probably sitting there and going, these sound great, but man, it sounds so onerous. It sounds like something I just can't do. Well, anybody can do it. You can go out to the DOE's website and see all their awardees, see all the awards they've made to small businesses just like yours. Because the vast majority of SBIR and STTR funding go to those small startups, companies that maybe 3 years or less for their history, just started up a year or two ago, have 1 or 2 employees, trying to really get established. And these programs go, okay, let's give you that hand. Let's be that crutch for you till you can walk on your own. But again, you have to create something to be able to submit to them. So how do you do that? Next slide, Carlos. Well, we run an accelerator for these opportunities. We created this accelerator because we saw this gap where these are such great programs. Not a lot of businesses, particularly across New Mexico, know about them. And just that commitment of time, energy, research can be a bit onerous for people that are just approaching them for the first time. People that go, yeah, this sounds great, but man, I looked through this solicitation. I don't understand what they're talking about here. I don't understand this requirement. I don't understand how I can move forward. And it just helps kind of build that ecosystem of that community where you'll find maybe even potential partners, maybe other people you can bring in, maybe somebody that's working on a solution that will make yours better in the long run. There's really no focused program like this as an accelerator. And so we said, this is a gap. This is something we need to do. Next slide, Carlos. So under our accelerators for SBIR and STTR, we bring a lot of things just kind of to the table. You'll be able to get weekly presentations that really break down the proposal process into bite-sized chunks. The full disclosure, before I came to Arrowhead and started working on programs like this, I was actually a member of a small business going after these opportunities. I've been that person at 2 a.m. trying to read through a solicitation going, oh God, I don't understand this. It's in weird government legalese. What are they actually asking for? I wish there was some asset for me. I wish there was some tool where I can go, okay, I need to figure this out. Who is this? What is this for? What do I do? How do I write this? What's the language I even use? How do I make my proposal stand out? And that's what our accelerator does. You'll be able to hear from industry experts that have actually sat on review panels for DOE, know what a winning proposal looks like, know how you can start to mimic that for yours, how you can craft something that's really going to stand above the rest of the crowd. We even do things like review proposals. It's a very, let's just call it intense, because even though we break down the process into bite-sized chunks, this is your first proposal package. You're going to spend probably 100 to 120 hours on average just putting it together, getting the documentation, getting the references, getting the resources, getting the links, building your repository of data to put in there, and then actually starting to write it, putting it all into format, making sure it aligns with what they're looking for. And we take that off your plate. We break that down into chunks. You get that guidance, you get that one-on-one, you get that hands-on support and a little bit of hand-holding. The only thing we don't do is create content for you, but we're there to make sure what you're creating is kind of on a timeline that works, something you can actually submit, and something that is complete and compelling. Next slide, please. So our accelerator, as I said, is 12 weeks for the actual teaching sessions, for the one-on-one support and guidance. The applications are now open and they will be closing April 29th. And then the cohort itself will run from May to August. It's not striped with the release schedule, but during that, you're going to get that kind of background and build up on, okay, this is dropping soon because they're release 1. The topics will come out in July. The solicitation will release in August. So by the time the solicitation releases, you'll know, what do I need to do? How do I need to craft this? And how do I need to create this? And you'll even get continued support after the cohort ends up until that submission window, because we want to make sure that even if you don't succeed, you get that great feedback from DOE on why didn't you succeed? What is missing? What else do you need to do? What is that gap? Because these are not a one and done program. It's not just a solo award and then they hope you go off and do something with it. It's not just a, yeah, you didn't approach this right. So, here's your Dear John letter, don't ever call us again. They want to fund businesses. They want businesses to grow. And we also have other tools and resources that are going to be available to people outside of the accelerator and past the cohort that will make sure that you can submit, that you can actually get something together, get it in on time. And if nothing else, get that feedback on, this is great, you missed this here, we need more information here, resubmit this next time. We're really interested in what you can pull together. Next slide, Carlos. So over the 12 weeks, again, because if you wait till the last minute on these programs, the ability to get a proposal together within, a week or two drastically reduces, one, your chance to get funded, and two, for you to actually submit. We've seen this time and time again. It's why we created this accelerator. So this information that you'll get, when you go through the EnergySprint+SBIR program, those last 2.5 weeks, you'll get introduced into SBIR. You'll find out exactly why those programs may be a fit for your business. You'll find out the various options you have. And then if you do fit with DOE, you can transition right into, okay, this is exactly how you approach DOE. This is exactly what they look for. This is information specifically for DOE, SBIR, and STTR opportunities. And we lay this out so that it kind of makes sense as you're developing things, as you're building, as you create that strong foundation, that outline, and just start plugging in information, taking it one step further every time until at the end you go, okay, now I can step back. Now I have something that, damn it, I'm proud of. This seems great. Next slide, girls. So what do you actually get during this accelerator program? Well, you get full proposal support, all the way from registrations, because just like every funding opportunity, there's registrations you have to do. Government registrations can be confusing and mystifying in and of themselves. So we make sure that, okay, this is what you need to do. You're running into this error. Here's how you fix that error. Here's how you get past this. All the way to that submission where we'll sit over your shoulder and we'll go, okay, no, that's not a right thing in grants.gov. Here, you missed something here. This is why this error is popping up. This is why it's not letting you hit the submit button. We do those live sessions. And then what we also do is allow you to go into other support ecosystem programs across Arrowhead. Like Carlos mentioned, the Enterprise Advisor Network, really great opportunity to kind of figure out who can I talk to, who's an expert here. Things like prototype and assistance through Fix. It gets you ingrained into all of the things that Arrowhead can do for your business to help you take that next step. Next slide, Carlos. And next slide. So one of those next steps, and one of the things that we do offer, and that is supporting, what we're doing here. And I see there's a couple of comments in the chat, our questions. I'll get to those very shortly. And the program that's supporting both EnergySprint+SBIR as well as our DOE ACSA is called NM CERG. It's the New Mexico Clean Energy Resilience and Growth Cluster. It's a module-based pipeline for success is the way we like to describe it, because it does offer those business-focused growth and development programs. Things like hey, maybe you need to actually get training on patent protections, or maybe you've already had SBIR awards and now you're looking for third-party investment. How do you connect to those investors? You know, how do you actually approach them with things like a pitch deck? How do you get, you know, your data center together to kind of hand over to them and say, this is who we are, this is what we've done, this is where we need investment, this is why you can trust us with, you know, giving us this money. Or maybe you actually need in-depth technical development assistance. You need to be able to be connected to people at Sandia or Orlando. You want to get a CRADA together, or you want to actually work with them on an SBIR or an STTR submission. You want to partner with them. You want them to be part of your resource chain for growing your business. Well, that's what CERG does, as long as you are related to clean energy in some fashion, because we take a very, let's just call it wide stance when it comes to clean energy. We know that the transition to green and clean technologies and sources of energy are not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be that kind of handoff point between carbon focused and maybe it's wind. Maybe we want to actually get towards that 2045 future for New Mexico of everything is clean, everything is green. There are no carbon derivative energy sources or energy production sources out there. And the way that's going to happen is by supporting businesses like yours. So that's why we created NM CERG. We're actually funded by the Department of Energy to provide all of this assistance, to help you figure out, this is the gap I have. This is the critical gap that I need to overcome in order to be successful. This is where I really see this hole right now that, man, if I could patch this, I could be there. I could do this. Next slide, Carlos. So in addition to the modules that I kind of laid out, there's other things that we offer that really do allow you to get invested into, whether it's the research ecosystem across New Mexico, whether it's the innovation ecosystem, whether it's the economic ecosystem. We want to be able to say, here are the things that you need to do. Here's where you sit right now. Here's where you need to be in the future. Here's how we can help you along this staggered timeline. Here's what makes sense. Here's how you can build off of something, go into another program, another module to continue that development. We don't just want to, serve you once and kind of drop you off at the gate and hope you get to where you're going to go. We want to help you walk that path every single step of the way. So that's why something like EnergySprint+SBIR and then DOE ACSA was created, because the Energy Sprint gives you that focus, lets you figure out that commercial prospect, lets you figure out that commercial opportunity, which is going to be a big portion of those DOE, SBIR, STTR proposal packages. They want to see that commercialization. They want to see that market. They want to see that customer. Well, you've already been through a program and gone and talked to them. You know what they want. You know their pain points. It makes your proposal stronger in the long run. Next slide, Carlos. So to be eligible for these programs, there's a couple of criteria. So EnergySprint+SBIR, you don't need to be part of NM CERG to start, but you'll be invited to apply if you see something that CERG can do for you, if you see something that we can actually help you with, if you see something that you critically need, you can be invited to apply, and we'll actually be able to help you. We'll be able to help you participate. And even if you're not able to participate in CERG, there's other programs across Arrowhead that can give you that assistance. We can even move you to NM Fast, which you'll find out about very shortly, to get that kind of dedicated assistance, but not that entire breakdown like you get in DOE ACSA. In DOE ACSA, because this is being funded by the Department of Energy Office of Technology Transitions, you do need to be part of CERG, but you don't have to be part of it right now. You can apply, and if you seem like a fit, well, you can actually onboard you into CERG right after the application process. We'll contact you. We'll say, okay, this actually seems like it's a fit. It seems like you're eligible for SBIR and STTR. Let's talk. Let's figure out more. Let's figure out exactly how we can help you, how we can help you grow and develop. Next slide. And that's just a little backbone in how we believe that we can provide this level of assistance for SBIR and STTR, because Arrowhead Center has the NM program, and NM has been funded for the past 7 years just to do that. That's what we do. That's our bread and butter, helping those small businesses across New Mexico go after SBIR and STTR opportunities. And we're not limited to a certain agency. Yes, we're running an accelerator for DOE. We also run accelerators for Department of Defense, USDA, NSF, NIH. You know, ones are being created in the future for NASA, for other agencies, as it makes sense, as that shift in New Mexico happens. For these are the types of technologies people are creating. These are the ways that the state needs to grow. We have other accelerators for agencies that just align with that goal, align with that overall vision. And you know, we run those accelerators under NM. We do things like that proposal package review. We kind of tailor those services to what you need, how you're going to get there. And really great thing is you don't even need to be a part of FAST to gain access to those resources. Next slide, Carlos. Because we have a living library, a website where you can download our compliance matrices, where you can take a look at our templates, where you can go on things like our YouTube channel and see an ungodly amount of videos for workshops that we've done, recordings. I mean, this is being recorded. We're going to send this recording out and the slides to everyone that's part of the workshop today, everyone that registered, just to make sure that you know where those tools are, you know where those resources are, you know how Arrowhead Center as a whole might be able to help you develop your business. Next slide, Carlos. So in summary, you know, under FAST in particular, we just provide that assistance. We provide that, okay, here's your guidance. Here's how you need to think about innovation. Yeah, you know, okay, I see why you describe it this way, but that's not what those reviewers are going to look for. They're going to look for this. Let's help you figure out exactly those changes that need to be made, that critique, that review. Oh, you don't have a resource for this? Well, here's a really great resource for figuring out your budget. Or here's a really great resource for what a budget justification should look like. Or here's how you talk about things like letters of support. Here's how you go out there and get letters of support from potential customers, you know, potential partners in the future for distribution, manufacturing, whatever it is, to show that you have that, a whole package. Not right now. Nobody has the whole package right now, but in the future you will. And here's how you showcase that. Here's how you make these reviewers believe that, yes, they're not there right now, but they know the risks, they know the challenges, they know the struggles, and they have a game plan to get around those challenges, to overcome those obstacles, to leap over that great big hurdle that's in your path right now. Next slide, Carlos. So that's kind of, you know, I understand we talked about a lot of different programs here, but that's what we do at Arrowhead Center. We don't really focus on, well, across Arrowhead Center, we don't really focus on specific technologies, specific types of businesses, but we have programs that do talk to those specific domains of science, those specific areas of technology, those specific types of businesses. And we just want to help you grow. We want to help you succeed, whether it's through participating in a program like EnergySprint+SBIR, or whether it's being able to, you know, provide you assistance through something like Fix, or whether it's just being able to connect you with that research community. We want to make sure that we offer what you need to do, what you need for growth, and how you need to succeed. because frankly, if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. If you can take that next step on that journey, if you can actually move forward, progress a little bit, then it's a feather in our cap because we helped you get there. And that's what we want to do. Here's the contact information for myself, Carlos, Dana Catron, who's the director of most of these programs that we've talked about so far, and just some links. We'll make sure that on this page, the EnergySprint+SBIR application is linked to, but check out these links, find out more about us, find out more about what we offer, and find out more about how we can help you grow. And looking at the questions in the chat, Edgar, yes, we will be sending out this PowerPoint along with the recording. Recording will be available later on today. I have to pull it down and edit it, and then it'll be up on the YouTube channel. So we'll make sure that that goes out to everybody along with the slides, and we'll make sure that all of the links are clickable so that you can just kind of one step find out more about who we are, how we help, and how we can help you move forward. Let's see. Abhijit, for the SBIR and STTR. So in order to receive SBIR and STTR funding, it has to be a US-based business that is primarily owned and controlled by US companies. So it can't go to organizations, startups in Asia, but if they do have offices, if they do have operations within the US, are established in the US, have an LLC spin out in the US, that LLC can be funded. There just has to be a clear delineation between the controls, the protections, and the intellectual property that will come out between that transfer between Asia and the US. And so that kind of goes along with the second question. We do work with corporations that are looking to improve their carbon footprint and pilot testing. So there's, as I said, various programs across Arrowhead that can help with that. Reach out to us, shoot us a quick email, tell us, kind of exactly what you're looking for, exactly what you need to succeed. And we'll be able to either find a match for you with what we do, or maybe there's a resource across the state of New Mexico, because for CERG, we have a couple different partners on that. Los Alamos and Sandia are both partners. The State Economic Development Department is a partner. We can help connect you to those resources, even if we can't provide that resource ourselves. And at this point, are there any additional questions on kind of what we talked about, more about CERG or EnergySprint+SBIR or DOE ACSA that you just really want to go, okay, I need to see if I'm a fit for these, but I'm not sure, who do I talk to, or is this something that y'all do? Abhijit, yes. Optimistically speaking, I would definitely say yes. When you get the email from me about the recording and things, definitely email me back, and then we'll actually schedule a meeting and I can kind of talk to you, find out more about exactly what you're thinking is that pathway, what you need to do, and then we can just hash it out. Peter, so you will need to apply, but we'll be talking with you soon about kind of that roadmap and that pathway. I'm thinking that we can actually just copy over the information from your CERG application. I'll get back to you probably tomorrow with some better guidance on that one, because we did recognize that with what you are doing, with what you and Gary are creating, that EnergySprint+SBIR is going to be a really great fit for y'all. So we want you to be in the program. We just want to figure out exactly how we need to work that application with you. Right. Any additional questions at this time? Because if there is not, I want to thank all of y'all again for being able to be here, listen to us talk about some of these great things that we can potentially help your business with, help you succeed. As I said, Arrowhead Center is all about helping grow your business, grow the economy, and just really grow the state of innovation in New Mexico here. We want to be able to provide those resources that get people into that pathway or that solution point where, frankly, they don't need our help anymore. That's what we would love for all of y'all to be at. You go, yeah, I made use of all these. I'm really successful. I don't need Arrowhead anymore. I mean, a shout out to, hey, Arrowhead is the reason I succeeded would be awesome. But we just want to make sure that we can provide that, if it's nothing else, knowledge on where can I go, what can I do, what do I need to do to be successful and to fully develop. So thank y'all again. As I said, this recording is going to be processed and go out, and we hopefully look forward to hearing from all of y'all. Because even if you're not a fit for EnergySprint+SBIR, or you're not a fit for DOE ACSA, or even if you're not a fit for CERG, I'm sure that there is something that Arrowhead Center can do to help you succeed, help you grow, and help you develop. Thank y'all.